at Latino voters and what they said was the most important issue for them. Look at this. 40% of Latino voters said the economy was their number one issue. And how did they vote? Those who said the economy was the top issue? We can see that they overwhelmingly by a 2-to-1 margin chose Donald Trump. We know from the exit polls that Latino voters, there was less support for Kamala Harris than any Democratic nominee on record since we started conducting exit polls in the early 70s. And I think the economy had a lot to do with it.
Opinions vary.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Varied. That's Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as the analysis of this election and the results and how it happened go on and on, it looks like if Donald Trump and the Republicans can come through on, say, 3/4 of even what they promised, they have a chance to solidify a new base amongst Latino voters that never existed before, and that could absolutely decimate the Democrat Party for who knows how many election cycles to come. So let's just get into a couple of reports right here, CBS News and CNN, and we'll comment along the way. Let's go.
While a majority of Latinos voted for Kamala Harris, Trump was backed by a record 46% of Latino voters, even gaining support in Democratic strongholds like New York City. CBS's Lilia Luciano spoke with some voters who were behind that historic shift.
In historically blue states like New York and progressive hubs like Queens, the shift to the right among Latinos is noticeable.
Right away, I can't stand when they say they throw that heavy accent on Latino, and this person reporting is of Italian descent with her last name. I looked it up. Drives me nuts.
Daddy, chill.
About 2 years ago is when I really noticed the shift of a lot of migrants overpopulating, especially in the area where I work.
Stephanie Tim, mother and real estate agent from Queens, previously backed Biden, but is now siding with Trump.
Where do you think Democrats or the Harris campaign missed the mark?
Democrats for a long time represented the middle class, which is where a lot of us are. They made too much money to get benefits that were available for even migrants, right? And they made too little money to take advantage of the tax breaks. So I really did feel that that's where they did fail us.
As a woman, do you feel troubled with that choice?
I did.
Here we go.
I know everyone was like, how can you do this? You're a woman. You just gave away your rights. But I don't.
Gave away what rights? You live in New York, first of all. Nobody saying that to you has a clue, because you gave away absolutely zero of anything when it comes to that issue because you live in New York.
I don't think that's exactly the message he was saying either.
Let me ask you both.
True. So this woman that she's talking to is smart enough to know that she was being lied to by the media and the Democrat Party about Donald Trump when it came to the deletion issue.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
Joe Biden.
I vote for Joe Biden.
And in 2024?
Donald Trump.
I changed to Donald Trump that year.
Why did you choose Trump this time?
For me, security, immigration, this situation with immigration is out of control.
Alejandro Vanderhoek and Uber
And here she goes again with the heavy accent on his name. Would you stop?
Daddy, chill.
Figueroa are both registered Democrats, but say a turning point was when Republican governors like Greg Abbott of Texas started busing migrants up north to cities like New York.
This
brilliant move by Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis to start doing that, to start to make people everywhere see what the problem is with illegal immigration and how it affects everybody.
gangs that come from the border. I came from Jackson Heights. Back in 2017 and 2016, even 2018, it was really quiet neighborhood. Not so much after 2020.
And who was president when it was quiet, and then not so much when it was after 2020? Who was president then?
For me, it's number one, economy.
What would you like to have heard that perhaps would have swayed you back into the party?
Oh, they were not consistent. I think they were just selling. Yes, I know Trump is not an easy person to adore, but I think he's very just blunt.
You hope he keeps his word.
He had 4 years to show he can do whatever he say, improve the country.
So basically what that's telling me is that Kamala Harris never had a chance in this election. If you listen to those gentlemen, that guy on the right, especially when he's talking, she never had a prayer, ever. Because first of all, she was the worst candidate in history. Second of all, just because they said, Trump, we knew what Trump was. And guess what? We got to see that it wasn't so bad. You lied to us. You were all lying the whole time about how bad it was when Trump was president. Actually, no. Now that we got a contrast right after, it was actually pretty good. So now let's go on to the CNN Roundtable and see what they have to say Abby Phillips. She actually keeps it under control this time, so let's go.
What did surprise you the most when you were there on the ground in Pennsylvania? You talk about the disconnect between this sort of like celebrity-fueled campaign and what you were seeing when you're knocking on these doors.
Well, first of all, the severity of the hardship for working people in the United States these days, it was really eye-opening. I report about immigration, so I have been on the ground with working people quite a bit in my career, but it wasn't just the price of groceries. It wasn't just, it's the whole structure of work. People are doing contract work. They're working night shifts, day shifts, and all.
Yeah, that's what most people do, when they don't get paid whatever you're getting paid to write for a rag like the New Yorker. And you actually get to see what everybody else, how they live when you leave your bubble of the Upper West Side of Manhattan, wherever you live, probably someplace like that.
So the way that people are communicating now, very often the only source of information that people had in Allentown was through their mobile phones. They don't have time to watch television. It was just a tremendous gap of communication with working people that I encountered, and most of the canvassing that I was doing was with Latino people, Spanish-speaking people.
She didn't go heavy on the Latino on that one, so I'll give her credit for that.
The Harris campaign, it sounds like, just missed it. I mean, even the Biden campaign leading up to it, they had to be dragged in a way to address the reality that people were feeling extreme economic hardship.
We lost this race in 2021.
Yeah, this is why CNN's going down. Jamal Bowman, really? I hope he didn't pull your fire alarm on the way out of the studio, Abby Phillips.
When Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema,
this guy should be in jail.
Build back better.
Yeah, it's Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema's fault that you know what? They actually saved you.
That was our economic populist plan.
Oh, God.
It was universal child care, universal pre-K, affordable housing.
It's called communism.
Jobs. Something to help people tangibly. Inflation happened. Prices went up. They never came back down. Republicans were moving as a well-oiled machine.
Could you imagine if that plan would have passed, what inflation would have been? Could you imagine? It would have been 30% across the board on everything, and we'd still be there.
It's the Democrats' fault. Democrats. We never had a response. We never recovered. Biden, in my opinion, should have decided in 2022 not to run for re-election.
Where were you in 2022 screaming from the rooftops that Joe Biden should get out? You were nowhere. This is all revisionist history. They're all full of crap.
We needed an open primary. Whoever won that open primary was going to be the person, and we get behind that person, and we ride or die with that person.
You lost your primary. You had nothing to lose. Why? Where were you? Where were you saying this? They're all cowards. They're all full of crap. Now that everybody's piling on, they feel free to say what they want. This is why you're losing.
But this goes back to two moderate Democrats, and I want to say this explicitly, because everyone wanted to jump off a cliff. Oh, she ran too far to the left. No, she did not. She never criticized corporations, never called them out for their price gouging, because it wasn't Democrats, it's corporate price gouging.
Oh, God.
She didn't run to the left. It was two moderates, Sinema and Manchin, killed Build Back Better, killed our economic agenda.
She doesn't even pay it. Abby Phillips, like, is this guy serious right now? She didn't go far enough to the left? That's what I'm saying. Jamal Bowman. You actually did the party a favor by losing your primary, probably. I don't know who replaced you. Probably someone even further to the left and more nuts than you.
Juliette, did you know when you were on the doors that she wasn't going to win?
No, I did not. Again, partly because we did actually win in the place where I chose. I made a strategic decision to go to Allentown because I'm a Spanish speaker. Allentown is the third largest city in Pennsylvania, and it is a majority Latino city, which many people don't know. And so my theory of the case was we're going to run up the vote with Latinos in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And
didn't happen.
I feel like that campaign was just getting going to full cruising speed by Election Day.
But it also seemed like
another one. She just didn't have enough time. Kamala Harris just didn't have enough time. Okay, the more time she had, the worse she got.
reading your article, it also seemed like you adjusted your message after meeting a bunch of people. You were like, these people are having trouble with dental insurance. These people can't afford enough food. These people are struggling with this. We are told to miss this entire block of housing because we don't have a message for them. And I think that...
Okay, I got to stop it again. You know Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks? This has to be her mother. Has to be. Has to be her mother. Lee McGowan. Is that Anna Kasparian's mother?
With all due respect and admiration to the Democratic leadership, things really, truly need to change. And I'm going to say that right out front. We absolutely lost the messaging war. If people in America did not know that the Democrats were the party that wanted to help them, we blew it.
It wasn't your messaging. It's your policies. People had enough of them. Your policies suck. You're all so far to the left with all this social, nonsense with the trans and everything else. It's it. They've had enough. People don't care anymore about all that stuff. They worry about putting food on the table.
If they didn't know that we were the party that would support unions, we made a mistake. If they didn't know that paid family leave was in Build Back Better and would have been part of Harris's campaign,
you had the rap sheet of the policies. I mean, was that
They don't get it.
responsive to what people were experiencing?
It was, and it was just that I do fault not the Biden campaign, but the Biden White House.
Pile on Joe Biden.
Complete failure of communication of what they were doing. We got out there, and there really was no knowledge at all about what Biden administration had done. And interestingly enough,
there was plenty of knowledge. They put people in the poorhouse. That was the knowledge. Everybody had knowledge of what the Biden administration had done.
so people would say, well, Biden, my grocery prices have gone up. And I would say, well, actually, Joe Biden is not on the ballot. And they would go, oh, all right, Kamala Harris. So whether she was the vice president or none of that was at a level.
I'll take things that never happened for 500, please, Alex. Cut it out. You're lying. They knew Kamala Harris was running and Joe Biden was on the ballot. Would you stop?
Of communication for these
real quick,
folks.
Scott,
There was a huge movement of Hispanic voters nationally from Democrat to Republican in this election, particularly among men. Just out of curiosity, as an old campaign operative, when you went to the doors, were you having most of your conversations with men or women? Who was answering the door, and what were most of your substantive conversations? Who was it with?
Well, first of all, I want to correct that in terms of Pennsylvania, what happened in Pennsylvania with the Latino vote.
Nationally,
I know what
moved
happened.
Broadly
but one of the things that I learned from this is that the lived experience of a Puerto Rican American citizen voter in Allentown, Pennsylvania, has very little in common with the lived experience of a Mexican American voter who lives in Hidalgo, Texas, right by the border, right when people were coming across the border, when there was kind of chaos at the border.
When there was kind of chaos, they do have the same experience when now the migrants are being shipped into their towns all over the country. So yes, they do now have the same experience. You see how that works?
From the lived experience of a Cuban American who lives in South Florida, these experiences, there's very little in common. And the lived experience of a Latino in Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's part of the problem.
Also,
people they put all Latinos together, but they're very diverse.
This is very diverse,
Yeah,
and so that would be the first point that I would make.
I'll tell you what they have in common. They had in common is that most of them, and a large majority of them shifted to Trump. They have that in common in this election. They just don't get it. I keep saying it. They don't get it.
Second point is that it varied a lot, but the people who came to the doors, the stress of working life for working class people and even middle class people. It's really extraordinary what's happened in this country. The economic.
Talk about out of touch. That's how out of touch. Oh my God, they're so stressed. The people that go to work every day, it's terrible. It's always been like that. Yeah, the last 4 years have been worse, but it's always been like that. She's one of those people that probably doesn't know anybody that owns a pickup truck. Okay? That's who she is. That's the Democrat Party now. And that's why they're losing. And that's why I say Trump has a great opportunity here, and the Republicans have a great opportunity here. Don't fumble the ball. Do what you said you were going to do, and you will solidify a new voting coalition, a new bloc that can carry you through the next who knows how many election cycles to get the country back. So don't screw it up, Republicans. I'm not even talking about Trump. I'm talking, but you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the rhinos. Don't screw it up. We're sick and tired of being Charlie Brown and you guys are Lucy pulling the football away. We're tired of it. This time it's not going to work. And I said this in my other video recently. I said the Republicans now have Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, I'm telling you, I am positive of this, is getting in the ear of these rhinos and saying, you want to play games? I will personally fund somebody to primary you, and I will fund them to the point where they cannot lose. We will destroy you. So that I think is what's going to happen. And we have somebody like Elon Musk finally. We have George Soros without the devil. We have Elon Musk, okay? He's our George Soros, but he's without the devil. Got it? You understand? So that's what's different this time. So let's hope the Republicans come through and do what they said they were going to. That's all we can hope for. So anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Continue to follow me here at Opinions Vary.
Opinions vary.